And joining me on the phone now, our first guest is Mr. Vince Baillargeon. He's the CEO of a company called Paradigm Oil and Gas Incorporated. PDGO is their stock symbol. Vince, welcome to the program.
Well, my pleasure, Don. Thank you for having me.
Well, now, Vince, of course, MoneyTV is initiating coverage of the company this week. We'll be following you very closely over the next several weeks. Why don't you tell us what the company does real quickly?
Well, the company is an oil-producing company and a service-oriented business. We're currently trading publicly on PDGO.
Now, I would have to imagine being a domestic energy company, a domestic oil and gas company, with everything that's going on in the Middle East, that's going to be kind of a comforting thought for you.
Well, yeah, it is, Don, but when I first got involved in it, I saw that, the oil and gas in the United States is unlimited. And it really hasn't been, just recently, the past year, it's really been tapped into. And there's so much reserves that I believe, and so does a lot of other people, that in the next 5 years, the United States will be one of the top exporters in the world. And with what's going on there, we can be self-sufficient, we can be running ourselves and be a top exporter for our economy.
Well, that's an amazing statement that you just made, Vince, because, people will have us believe that we're running out of oil here in the United States. We have to continue to import it from places that don't really like us very much. You're saying that we can turn that around completely and become an exporter?
Oh, absolutely. You'll be stunned. If you go out to Texas, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Louisiana, there are so much oil. And, the unemployment in parts of, South Texas is, zero. It's just so much growth and so much going on. There's so much work. It's unheard of. And, with the new technology of fracking, it gives you other ways, and with natural gas coming up in prices and more affordable for the households to run, they were never tapping the natural gas. Gas was so cheap several years ago, but now it's really gone way high. It's just amazing how much business is out there and what it can do to the U.S. economy and what it will do to the U.S. economy.
Well, Vince, as I mentioned at the top of the interview, we've initiated coverage of the company. We'll be following you very closely through the rest of the year, quite frankly, and I know we're going to have a long interview with you via satellite in the studio next week. Thanks so much for joining us on the program, and I know you've provided us with a video about your company. After I say goodbye to you, we're going to take a look at that. Vince, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
And thank you very much, Don. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good week. Bye.
With proven leadership that has more than 150 years of combined knowledge and experience in oil and gas exploration and recovery, Paradigm Oil and Gas is uniquely positioned to become an industry leader. Publicly traded under the symbol PDGO, Paradigm Oil and Gas is a leading service provider to the oil and gas industry, with expanding business operations in oil and gas production, specializing in the use of advanced recovery techniques to make producing and non-producing wells profitable. Paradigm's comprehensive support services operation features a fleet of technologically advanced Centurion mobile oil drilling platforms, bulldozers, graders, water trucks, and environmental equipment currently leased to oil producers in the Southwest. As a growing oil and gas producer, Paradigm currently holds 23 leases, including nearly 200 wells on 1,800 acres in Oklahoma, 1,100 acres in Texas, and another 200 acres in Louisiana. In addition to steadily increasing the number of wells online and producing, Paradigm is secured and is aggressively pursuing additional land options that will significantly increase its oil and gas production in 2014. Acquisitions targeting some 700 wells on more than 50,000 acres of land on mineral-rich sites, which include the Bakken Shale oil field in North Dakota, one of the largest oil and natural gas accumulations in the United States, the Eagle Ford Shale Formation in Texas, which holds vast oil and natural gas reserves, and 23,000 acres of oil-producing land in New Mexico. Diverse, robust revenue streams, an established infrastructure of core business assets, and strategic initiatives and acquisitions to expand the scope of its operation within the United States and abroad. Paradigm Oil and Gas is pursuing opportunities with the potential to develop over $2 billion in proven reserves and annual revenues exceeding $200 million, positioning the company for unprecedented growth and achievement in the oil and gas industry.